Now, for those of you eating chicken tonight, and I'm sure there are quite a few people doing that, a story that may challenge a few stereotypes about them. According to a newly published book by Kiwi author Annie Potts, chickens have human-like emotions. They grieve, they feel pleasure, they even have their own language. So are chooks really special or just frozen protein plucked? For want of a better term from the supermarket freezer, John Selwood reports, and will probably have to apologise afterwards, to be frank.
As a journalist, you are, of course, always scratching around for a good story. But chickens, really, to be honest, I was clucked off. Had I fallen foul of the programme editor, surely it would be poultry at best. But then I met Annie Potts, chook lover, academic and author of Chicken, a book that questions our modern attitudes toward a bird that she says has been trivialised and belittled.
They have become the butt of jokes. There was no jokes about that 100 years ago when we lived with chickens on little backyard farms and, you know, and barnyards and so on. So they're the lowest of the low in Western culture.
But is laughing, I'm just challenging you here, is laughing or smiling at a chicken actually because I have a lower opinion? It could actually be because I think it's amusing.
Well, that's different.
The plan is we go over the wire.
To be honest, I was beginning to wonder if the chicken suit was a good idea, but I had already paid the hire, and so...
No chicken looks like that. No chicken's yellow like that.
Oh, no, that's
true. Chicken has green eyes.
But we find them amusing. We have movies about them. We have rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a caricature of a chicken.
Is it denigration of a chicken?
Yeah, definitely. It's drawing on the trivialisation of chickens.
Annie's point, and the underlying theme of the book, is that we've lost contact with real chickens, and so we've stopped seeing them as anything other than meat on the plate.
Prior to industrialisation and the intensive farming of chickens for both eggs and meat, we had a much closer relationship. We were in much closer proximity with chickens. You know, we would see them on a day-to-day basis. We'd feed them ourselves and come to know individual chickens and also
So there's
flocks.
a sense of respect for the animals.
There was respect and there was knowledge about them, and there was an understanding of how they moved around in their own worlds, and a respect for that.
Yes, Annie is a vegetarian, but she's also a professor at Canterbury University's Centre of Human and Animal Studies. So evidence that chickens have their own language, form meaningful relationships, and have identifiable emotions carry academic credibility.
They display emotions that we can see are similar to the kinds of emotions that humans would have, such as pleasure. They get immense pleasure from things like dust bathing, sunbathing, and they also grieve. There's lots of stories that I could tell about hens that we've had who have grieved for their special companions when they've died.
So in a way you're saying we need to get in touch with our inner chicken and that there are things to admire about chickens.
Absolutely.
That we identify with.
Yeah. I don't know if I put it that way, but yes, get in touch with your inner chicken.
What would I find that was admirable?
What would you find? Well, I think you would find that you love the sunshine. You love to be around others. You know, now obviously if I talk about chickens like that to you, that makes you think, oh, they're lovely, aren't they? What a lovely thing to do, to come home and watch chickens when you feel a bit stressed. But, you know, 99% of the chickens in the world don't live that way. They live in cages, or they're in sheds where they have no lighting, and they are walking for a month in their own manure. So that's not the life of the majority of chickens in the world.
Globally, it's estimated that 60 billion chickens are raised, killed and eaten every year. In New Zealand, that figure is around 19 million a year. In all seriousness, how do we make people take chickens more seriously? Oh, well, I can start by doing that.
That's a good start. It's a good start.
But how do you?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I think you do it by learning about them, take some time to go to a park where they're running free range and watch them. You know, I mean, children love chickens. If you're a parent, take your children and let them watch chickens out in the natural world, because the only time they really see them is on a plate, and that's not a chicken, that's meat.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful audience.